Who is a quantity surveyor? What do they do? And why is it important for you to know? So today we have a very special guest, Mr. Stefan Roper, consultant at Roper Consultant. So he will be taking us through the process of quantity surveying and why is it important for you to know. Hi, welcome, Stefan.
Hi, welcome. Thanks for having me tonight.
I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you for taking up the invitation to have this discussion with me. As you know, here on Just Sharika, we talk a lot about housing and housing development. And I think it was fitting for us to have this discussion on quantity surveying and what it is. But before we jump into it, I would love for you to tell the viewers who is Stefan Roper and why you are the expert, the trained expert on today's episode.
All right, so as you'd have heard already, I'm Stefan Roper, Quantity Surveyor. I graduated from JIQS in 2014, so I've been practicing actively with a degree for 6 years, but I have always been a part of the construction industry for as long as I can remember. My uncle is a quantity surveyor, my father is a land surveyor, my other uncle is a construction manager, my other uncle is a land surveyor. So technically, we have construction in our blood.
Okay. You said you were practicing from 2014.
Yes.
You look so young.
I'm actually not that young, you know. I'm closer to 50 than I am from it.
Oh, are you being serious? It doesn't show. But as they say, when you love what you do, you know, it takes the age off. You look so young. So I guess you are loving your job. So we're going to get right into it. So tell us, Stefan, who is a quantity surveyor?
All right, so a quantity surveyor is basically a construction cost expert. So when you're thinking about construction, whether it be residential, commercial, even if you're putting up a little fall coop, even if you're doing a boundary wall, as small as it is, you want a quantity surveyor to advise you on the cost for whatever it is that you're doing. Even in the Bible, it says if somebody wants to put up a structure, how would you do it unless you know how much it will cost? So when you're planning to do any form of construction from a pin to an anchor, you need to be advised on the cost. So you consult a quantity surveyor. So a quantity surveyor advises you on cost when you're about to when you're considering construction.
Okay, that's a mouthful. You say when you are considering construction. So that's before you actually start the process. Correct?
Right. Yeah. So there are different stages that you can consult a quantity surveyor. It can be when you're planning. So there, one of the services that a quantity surveyor offers is preliminary estimating. So if you come and you say, okay, boy, you know, I'm looking at doing something, it's X amount of square footage, we can say, okay, fine, this is what you're looking at. And even for, let us say, for commercial purposes, you know, your quantity surveyor helps to inform the design process based on the kind of specification that you want, based on the cost for what you want, what you're trying to achieve.
So basically, a quantity surveyor is someone that you need to know when you are thinking about putting up a construction, whether it is a house, as you say, for residential, or if you're thinking of setting up a shop for commercial purposes. And this person will highlight the cost, break down the cost that it will take to build that property that you are looking forward to building.
Precisely. Let's look at it like you going to do an investment at the bank and you're given a portfolio manager.
Right.
If you're looking to invest in construction, any form of construction, then your quantity surveyor will be the one that helps you to protect that investment.
So for persons, because you always go around and seeing persons who start building, and during the process of building, they stop because they run out of money. So when you have a quantity surveyor, it will reduce or probably even eliminate that process, because you would know from the onset how much block you would need, how much steel you would need, and so on, and the cost for all of those things, so you can budget properly.
Right, and you can plan. I mean, I think what you just described is what we call the bottleneck effect, where you start
Okay.
off big and then you start funneling down to, into something that is much smaller. So if you have a quantity survey, then they inform you to say, okay, fine, you want a 3-bedroom, but right now, based on the funding that you have available to spend, it is best if you do
A
one of the bedrooms
two-bedroom.
for a 2-bedroom for
Yes.
now, or maybe you can only do one for now based on your cash
Right.
flow. So basically, they help you to plan. It's integral for any form of construction that you're doing. It is good to have a quantity surveyor behind you, helping you. I had a case even this week where I had a client that called me saying they engaged a contractor to do some work for them. They agreed that it will be done for X amount of money, and the contractor abandoned the work after doing the model unit for proposed development. And she wanted me to come in at this stage. Say, okay, fine. How do I know how much work he has done so far? How do I know if I've gotten value for money? How do I get to, does he owe me anything? Right?
Right.
But if she had consulted a quantity surveyor from the get-go, then she would have been engaging a contractor from a more informed perspective, because now she would have known exactly how much it's supposed to cost, how much work he's supposed to deliver on, and she would have had somebody protecting her interest for the
Right.
construction period. So
Okay.
it helps to mitigate a lot of the liabilities and challenges that comes when you're entering into any form of construction.
Okay. I like that point that you just made. So a question leading from that. So say for instance, I am building a 3-bedroom, my dream home, and I did not consult a QS prior to, because I was not aware. But after having watched this video and know that I have more information, will a QS still come in at that back end, and how can that QS assist me in the process, in the middle of the process, I should say?
All right. So once the QS, like I said, the QS can come at any phase during a construction. It can be at its inception, it can be in the middle, it can be at the back end. So let us say you're in the middle of your construction and you didn't consult a quantity surveyor to begin with. No, you're probably not even sure if you're getting value for money from your contractor. You can always contact the quantity surveyor. If you contact me, then I'll come in, you show me your drawings, we'll look at we'll do a full assessment of what is on site. We'll look at the value of works done so far and the value of works to be completed. And I basically work with you. I'll represent you. Now, if you come to me, then you probably won't even have to deal with the contractor directly anymore, because I'll be there talking to the contractor for you. So I am your liaison. I represent you. So I'm there keeping your money, because that's one of the rules in layman's term for the quantity surveyor. I'm there to protect the client's interest and to keep the money for the client. So if you call me midway through, I can say, okay, fine. And it also depends. What was the agreement that you entered into with the contractor? Right? Is it that you agreed to build for $10 million? At that point, we might have to sit down and discuss, okay, fine. Yes, it is value for money, or maybe we can reduce even the specs. A lot of the times what happens is that we'll start off big and we want so much, and then when we get to finishes, it starts dwindling down. So we can, QS can now sit down with and say, okay, fine, you can't get gold doors anymore because of your budget, but silver, or you can get bronze, or it might have to be gold plated. Right? It is so holistic, the service that we offer, that once you have a QS on your side at any point in the construction, you are bound to save a lot of money, and now you are now able to hold your contractor more accountable for whatever service he's rendering to you.
Okay. All right. So just to recap, Stefan, I am building my house. When I call a QS as a female, because typically most females, we are not so au fait with the whole construction process. So if I come to you and say, Mr. Roper, I'm building a house, here's my plan, and I want you to take over the process. Pay your fee. Can I be Rest assured that you will control everything, ensure that I'm getting value for money. Contractors do everything that they're supposed to do, and that my building is finished within time. So I don't need to be over anybody's shoulder, because you will handle that for me and ensure that this job is done to the best, on time, and I can move in. Is that correct?
Right. I think some of what you described just now is a little project management as well. But I'll tell you this much: a quantity surveyor is best suited to be a project manager. But yes, if you come to me as a, as a female and you come and say, "But Mr. Roper, I know nothing about my construction and I want you to help me," then rest assured you get everything done within budget as best as it can be, because I know sometimes, women have but if you employ me to do anything for your case related, then you will sleep with that peace that surpasses all understanding.
Beautiful. And that's what I would want to hear. Because we really don't know much about the construction process, and that can be a disadvantage, especially to females. So that's good to know that once you have a quantity surveyor on your side, especially for us as females, and you're building, at least that's one less thing to worry about. Knowing that your QS will ensure that you are, one, getting value for money, and that your construction, your house, or your business will be completed within time and within budget. So that's very good to know going forward, that your QS will have you covered. So given all of what you have just said, who are you targeting? Who is your target audience as a quantity surveyor?
All right, so I remember when I just started out, when I just finished UTech in 2014, my primary target audience was NHT clients. Anybody who is looking to go to NHT to get a loan, because a Bill of Quantities is one of the criteria for NHT to disperse a loan to a potential client or any client of theirs. So my main target audience at the time was NHT clientele. But now, 6 years in the industry, now I'm targeting anybody who's doing construction. A lot of my clients currently are commercial entities, private sector, government, and I'm still targeting NHT clientele. So once you're doing construction, whether, like I said, no matter how small it is, I have such an appreciation for construction that even when I'm not being remunerated the way that I'd want to be remunerated, there's something special about seeing a building grow into, or watching your dream grow from a plot of land with bush to your dream in block and steel, or your dream in whatever building methodology you want to utilize.
Okay, so pretty much a QS is for anyone who is thinking of building.
Like I said, it doesn't matter how small, even if you want to put on a simple addition for just a washroom on your house, even if you just want to repair, because there's NHT has what you call a home improvement loan, and not many persons will qualify for the full amount. Sometimes somebody will qualify for $1 million, and in this day and age, $1 million in construction doesn't get you much, right? But if you have a QS there with you, then you are now even able to stretch the money to get a little bit more than what it seems you can get at the get-go. So no, for me personally, no project is too small. So once you come to me, and my advice is free. You call me for advice on your construction, I'll advise you, and that is at no charge. I had somebody message me today saying, hey, I want some advice. What's your consultation fee? No, there's no fee. You call me, I'll give you my time freely for that aspect of it. When I render a service to you, that's when I charge you. But it's never ever too small. You call me, and if I can't help you, then I'll push you in a direction that I can help you. Because a lot of persons will call not knowing the difference between a land surveyor and a quantity surveyor. So once you call me and it's construction related, then we will point in the right direction, or we'll solve the problem for you.
Okay, thanks for that, Stefan. All right, so before we move on to the next question though, you mentioned bill of quantity. Can you explain what that is? What is a bill of quantity?
All right, so to begin with, the Bill of Quantities is a legal document that is prepared by the Quantity Surveyor that breaks out the work into line items or trades that adequately reflects the different aspect of the work. So whether it be substructure, superstructure, whether it be, and it breaks out into your steel work, your concrete work, your form work, your painting, tiling, joinery and hardware, windows, doors, your drainage, your sewage. So this document, like it says bill, it shows you what is line by line. So if you know nothing about construction, if you pick up a bill of quantities, you can actually read through the document and know exactly what is supposed to take place and associated cost for that respective item of work. So the bill of quantities basically breaks down the work with a description, quantities that reflects the amount of work to take place, and a unit rate for each item of work that is supposed to take place. And at the end, you have basically coming together of all the costing of different elements that shows you the total costing. So this is basically the bill that shows you everything about your construction, your descriptions, your quantities, your rates, and your summary for different, and it breaks out the work into different aspects, like I said before. So if you want to know, let us say that you're about to do some painting, right? You've done everything else and you want a painter. If you check your bill of quantities, the bill of quantities will show you the quantity of painting that is supposed to take place, the rate that is supposed to be done at, and basically the cost that you're supposed to be paying for painting. And then you can use that information to then get somebody to get a contractor or subcontractor to quote you on getting the work done. The bill of quantities that's for residential purpose. For commercial purposes, the bill of quantities is used as a comparative estimate. So when I do the estimate for commercial purposes, then it is now used as a basis for the procuring entity to go to market to get tenders and prices for the respective work that they want to be to execute.
Okay. So pretty much the bill of quantity is what the customer will get at the end of doing business with you.
Right. Well, if it depends, because the bill of quantity is not the only service that we offer.
Okay.
That is probably the most popular or the most demanded service that exists for us, because we also get into whole life costing. There is tender evaluations, there's contract administration, there's final accounts, but most persons will come and they get a bill of quantities and then they'll take it from there.
Okay. Okay. All right. So my next question to you, for the viewers who are not familiar with the role or the importance of a quantity surveyor, I'm sure there are a lot of misconceptions out there as it relates to being a quantity surveyor and the role that you play. What are some misconceptions that persons have about quantity surveying that you would want to squash right now?
Honestly, I don't know if I know that there are many misconceptions out there. I think a lot of persons will think that the quantity surveyor controls the money. That is true. But let me put it out there, we don't have the money sitting in our account to make payments. We're only representing the client in most cases. Like I said, we get a lot of calls with persons calling wanting land surveying services because they fall under the banner of surveyor. So most persons think that we offer land surveying services. The land surveyor offers boundary services, and the quantity surveyor focuses, zooms in on cost. Honestly, I don't know that there are so many persons who are not that aware of the profession that I don't think we have many misconceptions out there that we need to address.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give you one misconception that I know some persons might have. I know a lot of persons who are building, or a few persons who are building, and they try to find the cheapest way to do things. And from experience, normally sometimes when you find a cheaper way, it ends up costing you in the long run.
Right.
So some persons who want to save $1 and then end up spending $10 in the long run. So one of the misconceptions is some persons you don't want to spend, and they might see this service being an additional cost, an additional expense, and would not want to go ahead and hire a quantity surveyor because they would see it as an additional expense. What would you say to someone out there who sees it from that point of view that, oh, this is just an additional expense, I don't need this? What would you say to that person to convince them or to change their mind about hiring a quantity surveyor?
All right. So, I mean, the stories are out there. There are so many persons who've tried to take on construction by themselves. And if you ask them if they do it all over again, most persons wouldn't. So if it is that you want somebody who is in your corner representing your best interest, it makes more sense to pay. Let us say that you're investing. Your house is probably the largest investment that most persons will make in their lifetime. So most persons' dream house, you're looking at probably $20-25 million. Wouldn't you want to spend, let us say, 3% off of $20 million? That is going to help you secure and protect your $20 million investment. I think it's a no-brainer. I think it is a safe bet. You know, if somebody would come to you and say, hey, you know, just give me 3% and I will ensure that you secure your full investment, you know, everybody will jump on board. So if you want somebody to represent you, especially if you're not that aware of how the industry works, then you definitely want a quantity surveyor to be there protecting your best interest. And I can't stress that enough. There are too many persons out there who have ventured into construction thinking, you know, I have a little cousin who's going to help her. I know my best friend, you know, is in construction, or somebody come and say, boy, you know, man, give the best price. And then when you look at it at the end of the day, you know, it doesn't work as it's supposed to. So to spend 3% of whatever your cost is to secure that investment, I don't think, you know, I think that's as safe as it gets. I think that's as good as it will ever get.
Okay, so as you said, different quantity surveyors may have different rates.
Right, but I think that's a safe 2% thereabouts.
2%.
Okay. For budgeting, budget 2% for your residential construction, minimum for your construction. I mean, based on the situation, you know, you might go somewhere and you speak to a quantity surveyor, and you know, he might do it for you for 1.5. He might do it for you for 2. It might be 2.5 based on how much work it entails and just how much money that person charges. But like I said, 2% is a safe budgeting percentage to use.
Okay, 2%. So I do hope that the viewers actually got that point. So a rough estimate, because I know everybody watching the pennies, a rough estimate for a QS, is typically 2% of the construction cost.
Right. So,
right,
I think the perfect situation would be if you're going to NHT and NHT is lending you, let us say you qualify for the full amount, $6 million, and you already have your land that you're going to build on. We did estimate for you for.
I think for land they give you 2.5.
Right, but I'm saying if you have your land already and they're lending you that additional, well, you qualify for the full amount, which I think is 6.5.
Yes, 6.5.
6.5, then you come and we'd probably charge you 1.5, 2% of that $6.5 million, because for NHT, the estimate has to be reflective of the exact loan amount that they're giving. So it'll be 2% of the $6.5 million, 2% of that is going to run you $130,000.
Okay.
And for me, no man is an island. So if you come to me and, you know, your situation is what it is, then sometimes, you know, we're open to negotiation, because, you know, who knows, tomorrow I might need your assistance for some other service. Like it can be a barter.
Yeah,
right?
or a referral.
Or referral, there we go.
Yes. Just to wrap up, why hire a quantity surveyor?
All right, so for your construction, it is this is the person that is going to secure your investment. You know, like we said before, your home is the largest investment for most persons. So, you know, spend that 3%, spend that 2% to have somebody in your corner that is spending your hard-earned money while you're out there working for it. Somebody who's going to make sure that everything is done to budget and meeting your specifications and outlines it, is going to inform you with a document, you know, step by step, how it is supposed to be done, what is supposed to be done, the cost to get it done.
All right, and my final question to you, Mr. Roper. Why hire Stefan Roper?
Well, you know, I think I am young, I'm determined. Construction has always been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. I believe firmly in upholding the highest quality work that exists. My name is my brand, right? The industry is run basically on a reputation, and with my name being my brand, my reputation is all I have to salvage to keep me going. So if you go out there and you ask about Stefan Roper, you know, all things being well, you should hear very good things. So if you employ me, like I say, you can rest assured that you're going to get the highest quality at the best cost, and like I said, you will sleep with that peace of trust and all understanding, because I'll be in your corner fighting your construction battle, making sure that you get what you want at the best cost.
Okay, how do we find you?
All right, so our office is located shop number 4, AJ's Complex, as off Brunswick Avenue in Spanish Town. If you want to call us, you can call me directly at 876-487-7442. Or you can search for us on Instagram at Roper Consultants or Facebook, Roper Consultants. And we're there. We're on social media. We have a really good presence. I'd like to thank at this time Gabrielle Hyman. She does an amazing job keeping the content up to date and current. And if you search for us on Instagram, you'll see what I'm talking about. Content is very good, always there. And we're there so you can reach us.
Yes, I can attest to that because I have been on your Instagram. I have seen your Instagram TV interviews that you would have been doing. Very good job on that. Very good job on getting the information out. So as he just stated, go over to his Instagram page. You can contact him via the number that he just provided. I will also leave his contact details in the description box below. So if you are out there, you just got that piece of land from NHT or from your grandmother, your grandfather, or your husband or your wife or the boyfriend or the side chick or whomever gave you that piece of land and you're ready to build, you need a quantity surveyor and you want to contact Stefan Roper, I will leave his contact in the description box below for you to reach out to him. All right, and remember, there is no job that is too small. So if you are constructing, you are thinking of constructing, contact Stefan Roper. Stefan, thank you so much for taking the time out. I know you have been very busy and you are here providing us with useful nuggets. So thank you so much for that. And thank you to my viewers for watching. And I will see you in my next video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video and for my next interview. Until then, guys, have a good one. Bye.